I'm excited to announce a collaboration between True Crime Stories of South Africa and Media Gang Bros. Media Gang Bros creates weekly quality videos about organized crime syndicates in South Africa. If you're not familiar with his channel, I've linked it in the description. Please go over there and check out his other videos and consider subscribing to his channel. He's actually one of the people that inspired me to start this channel. That's how great he is. Similarly, if you're here from his channel, welcome to True Crime Stories of South Africa. Please check out the other videos on the channel and consider subscribing. I also try to make quality, well-researched videos on a weekly basis. This is the story of the Fort Hare University corruption and matters. Let's get into it.
At one of South Africa's most historic universities, a campaign to clean up corruption has left a bloody trail. The University of Fort Hare, once the pride of South Africa's liberation struggle, has become a crime scene of assassinations and attempted hits. As Vice-Chancellor Professor Sakela Buhlungu pushed to root out fraud and criminal networks, those efforts were met with bullets. Now, this is a chilling story of the Fort Hare killings, where corruption and murder became inseparable.
The University of Fort Hare, located in Alice in the Eastern Cape, carries a proud history. Founded in 1916, it has long been regarded as a cradle of African intellectualism, known for educating great liberation icons including Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, and Robert Sobukwe, shaping the minds that would later dismantle apartheid. But in recent years, that reputation has been dragged through the mud. Allegations surfaced of degrees being sold, tenders being rigged, and staff appointments being manipulated. When Professor Sakela Buhlungu became Vice-Chancellor in 2017, he made it clear that the university would no longer be a feeding trough for corruption. His determination to clean up Fort Hare would set off a chain of deadly events.
The campaign of violence began in May 2022 when Petras Roots, the university's fleet manager, was ambushed and laid down near East London after leaving campus. Now, Roots had been linked to sensitive information about the university's vehicle contracts, and his death was widely seen as an attempt to silence those cooperating with reforms. Then on the 6th of January 2023, the shooters came for the Vice-Chancellor himself. As Professor Buhlungu sat inside his Alice residence, his trusted bodyguard and driver, Mboneli Vesele, waited outside in a vehicle. The shooters opened fire, taking out Vesele instantly. Buhlungu, who had been a target for the attack, narrowly escaped. Later investigations revealed that Buhlungu was not the only one who was marked for death. His deputy, Vice-Chancellor Renuka Vital, was also a target. Authorities uncovered evidence of cash offers placed on Buhlungu's head, confirming that these were not random crimes but coordinated assassination attempts to halt the anti-corruption drive. A bounty of 5 million rands was placed on Vice-Chancellor Buhlungu's head, while his deputy carried a price of 3 million rands. The message was brutal and clear. Expose those networks bleeding the Fort Hare University and you risk your life.
It was assassins who are dead set on this. I just need to say something that what's been happening in the university is that several people have been getting shot at, and one person who died was Mr. Petras Roots in May. He was shot dead, assassination style.
The team that initially investigated the corruption was Horizon Forensics, hired by the Vice-Chancellor in 2017. This was shortly after Professor Buhlungu took over, and he needed help from an outside forensics team to restore order to an institution crippled by years of corruption. In 2020, the university brought in Mr. Isaac Plakis as head of vetting and investigations to collaborate with Horizon Forensics. At first, he made a strong impression. He was described as charming, ambitious, and hardworking. He was so effective that Horizon Forensics even offered him a position in their company, although the offer was later withdrawn, but he was still compensated because of the promise they had initially made to him. The South African Police Services also set up a Special Investigating Unit, SIU, to investigate the killings. And through their investigations, the investigators started uncovering deep-rooted corruption that turned the university into a playground for criminals. This included procurement fraud, including widespread fraud in contracts such as cleaning and gardening tenders, leasing of student accommodation, and maintenance of aircon systems. A key example of this was Quash Cleaning and Gardening Services, which was hired in 2017 to do the cleaning of facilities within the university. They were hired in 2013 for 750,000 rands a month. And between 2016 and 2018, the company submitted inflated invoices worth 13.9 million rands, while more than 4.1 million was funneled into accounts tied to employees of the university, allegedly as kickbacks. Another scandal involved businessman Raymond Patel, who secured a 3.6 million tender but allegedly paid 1.6 million rands in kickbacks also to various employees of the university. In total, more than 172 million rands in University of Fort Hare funds were linked to corruption contract, with much of the money lining pockets of insiders. The SIU also discovered fraud in the academic programs. Unqualified students were admitted into bachelor's, honors, master's, and even PhD programs that they did not qualify to be admitted into. In addition, degrees were allegedly awarded without proper supervision or completion of requirements. One high-profile case involved Professor Edwin Ejioma, a Nigerian national who at the time was the dean for the Faculty of Business Administration. He was accused of registering high-profile students who did not meet admission requirements. These included the Eastern Cape Premier, Oscar Mabuyane, who was admitted into a master's program despite not meeting the requirements. Mabuyane was later deregistered for the program after the scandal broke. In addition, the then MEC of Health in the Eastern Cape, Sindiswa Gomba, was also admitted into an honors program despite not having a bachelor's degree or any undergraduate degree. She was also later deregistered.
But the scandal doesn't stop there. Professor Idioma himself built his career on fake qualifications. He got a PhD from the University of Pretoria, but he applied using false documents from a bogus American university. When the investigators dug deeper into his academic history, they found his undergraduate diploma was from a Nigerian institution that no longer exists. The shocking part is that he supposedly received that diploma in 1984, even though the university had already been shut down by then. So here's the picture. A man from Nigeria, armed with qualifications from a fake institution, including a closed-down Nigerian university, managed to become a professor at one of South Africa's most historic universities. And through him, politicians like Mabuyane climbed the ladder with fraudulent degrees.
Did your experience at Fort Hare, make you regret ever coming to South Africa? As you say, you came to South Africa 30 years ago. Did you get to a point where you regretted and questioned yourself, why did I come to this country?
I was arrested for stealing my car. I am surprised by journalists who write those things.
What were the first steps that the leadership of the University of Fort Hare took as it relates to you when they saw your name out there in the newspapers?
The university literally invited journalists. It was written that I didn't go to school. At a stage, it was also written that my master's degree is fake.
Another fraud case that was uncovered by the Special Investigation Unit was that an employee, Thobeka Portia Heshula, who was a resident manager at the university, awarded tenders to her son's company using other people's names, even though it was her son who owned the company that was awarded these tenders. And in another shocking twist, Isaac Blakkies, the University of Fort Here's Director of Investigations and Vetting, the official meant to guard against corruption, was accused of being at the center of it all. I will circle back on him in a bit.
The assassinations and corruption scandals forced the state into action. 2 parallel investigations were launched. The SIU focused on the financial rot, tenders, degrees, fraud, and fraudulent appointments. Now their work exposed the millions siphoned off the university through inflated contracts and fake admissions. Then the Political Killings Task Team, normally deployed in KwaZulu-Natal, was sent to the Eastern Cape to deal with the wave of assassinations. Their job was to track down the hitmen and uncover who was pulling the strings. Together, these probes revealed that the killings and corruption were 2 sides of the same coin. As the SIU uncovered fraud, the task team traced assassinations back to those who stood to lose the most. Then by 2024, more than 25 suspects had been arrested, from hired gunmen to insiders who leaked sensitive information. Then in 2025, Bafana Chiliza and Nkosiyazi Maphumulo were arrested in Gauteng for their role in the murder of Mboneni Vesele. Then another suspect, Sphiwe Jejane, remains at large. But at the heart of it all, investigators pointed at Isaac Blakkies.
Isaac Blakkies, the university's Director of Investigations and Vetting, allegedly betrayed his mandate. Instead of protecting the university, he is accused of orchestrating its bloodshed. According to the National Commissioner of Police, Mr. Fani Masemola, who mentioned during his appearance at the Madlanga Commission, when the Political Killings Task Team first started the investigation at the institution, they were working with him because of his role, and they believed that he was very helpful in their probe, but quickly realized that he may have been the mastermind. And Mr. Blakkies is now charged with the murders of Mr. Roots as well as Mr. Vesele, and the attempted murders of Prof. Buhlungu and Prof. Bithal. And authorities are even saying that he maintained a hit list, complete with names, photographs, and price tags for senior officials that were targeted for these assassinations, including at the very top. Phone records allegedly place him in direct contact with hitmen before and after the attacks. He's also implicated in diverting tenders to companies such as Pentagon Group and in schemes worth more than 2 million rands involving money laundering and fraud.
Then in a shocking twist, police turned their sights on Horizon Forensics, the very team hired to clean up the corruption. Their arrest conveniently halted further investigations into explosive matters, including the alleged fraudulent registration of Oscar Mabuyane and awarding qualifications to ANC members. It is widely suspected that the move was meant to shield Mabuyane, with whispers of former Police Minister Bheki Cele's involvement. Now Horizon was charged with organized crime and accused of bribing Blakkies to extract money from the university. But the so-called bribe was nothing more than a payout that Blakkies had received after Horizon took back its job offer. He flipped the narrative, painting a legitimate compensation as corruption. But eventually, the courts threw out the charges and released the Horizon team, finding no wrongdoing. But still, the sight of Horizon's investigators standing in the same dock as the very criminals they had helped expose, including Blakkies, was a surreal and troubling picture of how twisted the Fort Hare saga had become.
Currently, in 2025, Blakkies and multiple co-accused are on trial, facing charges of murder, attempted murder, fraud, corruption, and money laundering. The prosecution argued that the killings were not isolated, but part of a deliberate campaign to preserve and control tenders and jobs and even degrees at the institution. The University of Fort Hare stands today as both a symbol of liberation and a battleground for corruption. What began as a mission to clean up irregular contracts exposed how greed can infiltrate South Africa's most historic institutions. During the week of the 6th of October 2025, students at the institution protested, demanding a democratic election of the Student Representative Council, arguing that the process was not democratic in nature. In addition, students also called for the resignation of Professor Buhlungu, the Vice-Chancellor, who recently turned the age of 65. The demonstrations destroyed university infrastructure valued at between 250 million to 500 million rands. At least 6 buildings, including the administration block at Dikeni campus in Alice and the education building in East London, were set alight. 8 students were arrested and appeared at the Alice Magistrate Court, where they were released on warning. In addition, the Minister of Higher Education, Buti Manamela, stated that student protests at the university may have been hijacked by criminal elements who, in his words, may or may not be students. Student leaders themselves claimed that the unrest had been hijacked by some outside forces or individuals with ulterior motives, seeking to sabotage legitimate student struggles and destabilize the institution. The Vice-Chancellor believes that these violent protests were also politically motivated, that they were linked to the imminent release of the SIU report, which names 33 high-ranking politicians in academic fraud in the institution. So as the nation watches to see what unfolds in such a historic institution that has been crippled by corruption, and the trial continues for those implicated in the matters, and we can only just hope that justice will prevail in this case. And it remains to be seen really whether the University of Fort Hare can ever restore the honor of its name. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to this channel as well as Media Gang Bros. Please leave your comments in the comment section, which is sure to generate an interesting debate about this case. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the next video.